Welcome to part 2 of Every Russian Tank. Let's start from where we left. World War II core designs. T-50. The T-50 was an advanced light tank with excellent armor for its size and a well-designed crew layout. Unfortunately, it was too expensive and complex for wartime mass production. Only small numbers were built, making it one of the biggest missed opportunities of the war. T-60. The T-60 was an emergency tank built to replace massive early losses. Lightly armed and armored, it was never intended to fight enemy tanks. Instead, it provided mobile fire support and reconnaissance. T-70. The T-70 improved firepower and armor over the T-60 but suffered from a two-man crew and cramped interior. Despite its flaws, it served effectively until replaced by more capable designs. T-80. The T-80 was the final Soviet light tank of World War II. With better visibility and performance, it arrived too late to make a significant impact and production remained limited. T-34. 76. The T-34 changed armored warfare forever. Sloped armor, powerful gun, and excellent mobility made it superior to most early German tanks. Early versions suffered from poor optics and crew ergonomics, but its battlefield impact was revolutionary. T-34-85. The T-34-85 corrected earlier weaknesses with a larger turret and more powerful gun. It restored Soviet firepower against German heavy tanks and remained effective well into the post-war period. Heavy tanks. When the KV-1 entered combat in 1941, it stunned German forces. Its thick armor was nearly immune to early German anti-tank guns, allowing it to block entire advances by itself. But this protection came at a cost. The tank was painfully slow, its transmission unreliable, and maintenance in the field was a nightmare. While terrifying head-on, the KV-1 struggled with mobility and logistics. Still, it proved one crucial lesson: armor dominance could shape the battlefield. The KV-2 was less a tank and more a mobile bunker. Designed to smash fortifications, it carried a massive howitzer housed in an enormous turret. When it fired, the blast was devastating, capable of collapsing concrete defenses in a single shot. But its towering profile made it unstable, slow to traverse, and easy to spot. In combat, KV-2s were deadly when stationary, and helpless when flanked or caught on the move. KV-1S. The KV-1S was a response to reality. Soviet engineers stripped away some armor to improve speed, reliability, and crew survivability. It handled better, moved faster, and broke down less often than earlier KV models. While it lost some of its invulnerability, the KV-1S proved far more practical on real battlefields. It marked the moment the Red Army began prioritizing balance over brute force. The KV-85 served as a bridge between eras. It mounted a powerful 85mm gun capable of engaging newer German armor while using a modified KV chassis. Though produced in limited numbers, it filled a critical gap during a transitional moment in Soviet tank development. The KV-85 wasn't perfect, but it introduced firepower concepts that would define the next generation of Soviet heavy tanks. S-1. The IS-1 marked the birth of a new heavy tank philosophy. Instead of simply adding armor, it featured improved armor angles, better internal layout, and increased firepower. Designed to counter late-war German tanks, it showed clear advancements over the KV series. Though produced in small numbers, the IS-1 proved the concept that would lead to one of the most feared tanks of World War II. IS-2. The IS-2 became legendary. Armed with a massive 122mm gun, it could destroy German Tigers with a single hit. Reloading was slow, but every shot carried enormous destructive power. Built for breakthroughs and urban combat, the IS-2 was especially effective during assaults on fortified cities like Berlin. S-3. The IS-3 arrived too late to fight in World War II, but its impact was immediate. Its distinctive pike-nose armor dramatically improved protection against incoming fire and shocked Western observers when revealed. Though plagued by early reliability issues, its design influenced tank development worldwide. The IS-3 symbolized Soviet post-war tank dominance more than any battlefield victory ever could. Post-war and modern era. T-44. The T-44 quietly changed everything. With a lower profile, improved suspension, and better internal layout, it fixed many flaws of earlier designs. Though it never saw major combat, it became the blueprint for future Soviet tanks. The T-44 wasn't famous, but without it, modern tank design would look very different. T-54. The T-54 perfected balance. It combined strong armor, a powerful gun, and excellent mobility into a single reliable platform. Entering service shortly after World War II, it became the backbone of Soviet armored forces. Exported worldwide, it fought in dozens of conflicts and proved adaptable, durable, and deadly. The T-54 set the standard for Cold War tanks. T-55. The T-55 took the T-54 and modernized it for a nuclear battlefield. It introduced full NBC protection, improved ammunition storage, and greater reliability. Simple, cheap, and rugged, it became the most produced tank in history. Even today, upgraded T-55s remain in service around the world, a testament to its enduring design. IS-4. The IS-4 was an attempt to push heavy armor to its limit. It featured extremely thick protection but suffered from severe mechanical issues and excessive weight. Difficult to transport and maintain, it saw limited service. The IS-4 showed that simply adding armor was no longer a viable path forward. S-7. The IS-7 was an engineering monster. It combined extreme armor, a massive gun, advanced suspension, and even remote-controlled machine guns. On paper, it was unstoppable. In reality, it was too complex, too heavy, and too impractical for mass production. Though never deployed, the IS-7 represented the peak and end of super-heavy tank ambition. T-10. The T-10 was the final Soviet heavy tank to enter service. It refined earlier heavy designs into a more reliable and mobile platform. However, changing doctrine and the rise of main battle tanks made heavy tanks obsolete. The T-10 quietly closed the chapter on an entire class of armored warfare. The PT-76 was built for a different mission. Light, amphibious, and agile, it was designed for reconnaissance and river crossings. Though lightly armored, it proved valuable in amphibious operations and was widely exported. The PT-76 showed that tanks didn't always need heavy armor to be effective. T-62. The T-62 made history by introducing the world's first smoothbore tank gun. This allowed it to fire more powerful ammunition capable of defeating modern armor. While it had limitations in fire control and ergonomics, it marked a major technological leap. The T-62 bridged the gap between early Cold War designs and modern main battle tanks. T-64. The T-64 was revolutionary and secretive. It introduced composite armor, an autoloader, and a smaller crew, decades ahead of its time. Complex and expensive, it was never widely exported. But its innovations became the foundation for nearly every Soviet and Russian tank that followed. T-72. The T-72 simplified everything. Designed to be rugged, cheap, and easy to mass-produce, it sacrificed some sophistication for reliability. It became one of the most widely used tanks in history and fought in countless wars. The T-72 embodied Soviet doctrine: quantity, durability, and battlefield survivability. T-80. The T-80 pushed speed to the extreme. Powered by a gas turbine engine, it accelerated faster and ran smoother than diesel tanks. However, it consumed enormous amounts of fuel and required complex maintenance. While impressive, it proved costly, especially in prolonged conflicts. T-90. T-90A. T-90M. The T-90 series modernized Soviet concepts for the 21st century. Featuring improved armor, advanced fire control systems, and modern electronics, it represents Russia's primary export tank. The T-90M, in particular, addresses earlier weaknesses with improved protection and survivability. It is the most refined evolution of classic Soviet design. T-72B. T-72B3. These upgrades kept Cold War tanks relevant. Enhanced armor, modern sights, and improved ammunition transformed aging platforms into capable modern vehicles. The T-72B3, in particular, became a frontline workhorse, proving that modernization could extend a tank's lifespan by decades. T-14 Armata. The T-14 Armata breaks completely from tradition. With an unmanned turret, armored crew capsule, and advanced active protection systems, it redefines tank survivability. Still limited in numbers, it represents Russia's vision of future armored warfare. Whether it becomes revolutionary or symbolic remains to be seen, but its design is unlike anything before it.